Hey, greetings everyone. Daniel Lowry back with another episode in our Python series. And of course, today we are going to take what we learned in our last episode, which was all about lists and loops. Lists and loops, say that 3 times fast. Not as easy as it sounds. And we're going to apply that information to our actual brute force script, marrying together perfectly our love for cybersecurity and our newfound love for coding so that they come together in perfect unison and harmony. And we can get one to support the other and vice versa. That's the idea anyway. With that said, we got to get at it, right? Because time is wasting. Here is our script. This is brute force v5. And if we look here, where we're going to need to jump in, at least where I think we need to jump in, honestly, is going to be right here. I feel like we could do this globally outside of this, but it just seems like it would be better inside this try block. And I think this is where it should go. But this really brings up a good point now that I'm thinking about it, is that I'm not a perfect programmer. I don't do dev for a living. And so sometimes I have to just throw code at the screen and see if it works. If it does, great. And then maybe I come back later and go, is that the best way to do this? And you're watching me do this in real time. That's kind of how this is going right here. I'm building this as we go. And hopefully you are learning what it is I'm teaching you as we go as well. But that means that I might make mistakes, and that's cool. Guess what? You're allowed to make mistakes too. No law says that you cannot make code that does not work. Trust me, if that were true, I would be in prison. But it's not true, so that's cool. That means it's okay. I give you permission to make mistakes and write janky code. We're all like janky code writers in some way, shape, or form. But then you go back, you look at your code and you go, man, is this the best way to do this? Or maybe you grow as a developer and you learn more tips and tricks and cool little things that you can do to make your code more efficient. And then you come back and you refactor, right? It all goes back to that whole refactoring idea we talked about in another episode. So I just want to put that out there. It's totally cool if you write janky code. As long as it works and does the thing you want it to do, starting off, that's totally fine. You're allowed to do that. And so am I, right? So let's get back at it and see if we can't write some janky code. So I'm going in the try block here. And I'm going to indent because you have to, right? And from here, I need to create my lists. So the first list is called loginNames. That's right. This is, I named it name last time, so I'm going to make it names. It makes it more, more logical. Names equals, of course, you give it the open and close square braces, square brackets, and then you give it some double quote or single quote, comma separated values. There we go, like this. It's looking nice. I'm just kind of like going crazy here. What do we got there? What do we got? I think it looks like we got 6 values. That's fine for right now, because again, this is just for demonstration purposes. Now I need another list, and that one's going to be passwords. And we're going to do the same thing. Open and close. I always do open and close. Well, I try to anyway, because I'll forget. And that is just a pain point for this guy. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'll give it like 6 values. It's one more. There we go. Okay. So now we just need to fill in between the double quotes of values we want to give for names. This is just our list of names for logging in. This is just going to be our list of passwords for logging in. We're going to use these 2 things to brute force our login post request for login and password. So we're going to change these here in just a moment. But first we got to give them, or give it, this information, because without it, it does nothing. So let's try some good old fashions, right? Root, we like that. Let's try admin. That looks good. Let's go with guest. I like it. How about test? And what's another good one? How about just administrator? Administrator. Like that. It's not uncommon. Oh, you know what? That's a little lump. So we'll go. We got admin. I think it covers that base. We'll do user. Like that. User one. User one. Looks good. And then, of course, we know that B is a good user. Again, we shouldn't know that, but we do. Don't worry. We're going to address that issue. All right. So passwords. Let's give it some passwords. Well, we saw some really really dumb passwords in the last episode. And of course, what is this? I'll ask Google to give me the top 5 most common passwords. Um, what are the top five most common passwords of 2025? Hit me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and QWERTY. I will put them, I'll do password and QWERTY and then in this order. So that is just hard to see. I'm not going to lie. So we'll try password. We'll try QWERTY. And then we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and bug. Because we know bug is the proper password. Again, don't worry. We will be addressing the fact that we know the username and password, and that doesn't seem fair. We're gonna get to it. Bear with me. Okay. So we've got our lists. That's good stuff. We might even want to put in some good commenting there. Login names and common passwords. Like that. Just kind of give us an idea of what we're doing here. And now that we have that, we need to make this post request. And guess what? This is where our for loops come into play. So some more indenting is going to happen here, but and we're going to have to change our actual request, right? Our post request action using the requests module. So let's do that. So let's start off with a for name in, what is it? Login names, login names. And then we give it a colon. And of course, then we need to do an indentation with another nested loop for word in passwords. Hit that. And now, you know what we got to do? We got to come out here and we've got to move all this stuff indentation style. Bam, bam, because that's how this works. So what's happening here is we start off with our for loop for name in login names. So it's going to grab the first item, the first value in our list of that is called login names. It's going to grab that and it's going to call it name. And then it's going to shovel that down into our next loop, which is for word in passwords. So it's going to grab that first value in our list called passwords and put it into the Tupperware that is called word. And now we need to give it a request. Now, in the last episode, we just did a bunch of print statements. Hey, print it, print it, print it, print it, print it. But now we actually wanted to do a request using the request module. So like I said before, and like I'll say again now is where you get to do whatever you want. What we want to do is a post request. So let's make it happen. But of course, this is not now formed correctly. I mean, it will work, but it'll just do the same thing over and over and over again. It will just say, hey, trying this login, printing out, hey, this is the target URL you gave me, and then hitting it with a response code and printing that to the screen. That ain't what we wanted to do anymore. At least it's some of what we wanted to do, but not everything. I need to change this where the login equals B. Now on, I don't need this single quote value. I need, let's see here, the name from login names, whatever we're iterating through. So come back down here and just call it name. That was easy. Guess what else I got to do? The same thing for password. I no longer need bug. I need word. Right? So it's grabbing from these variables that have been populated by the for loop using the lists. Okay? So if that all works well, of course, everything else looks good because nothing else has changed. And we can say, hey, here's the target URL we're going for. Now, this is going to do this every time, so that's probably not where we want that. So let's move that. I'm going to cut this, right? Because yes, that's a good place. We're going to cut that out. And we're going to go back to the top of the try block. We'll stick that up there. Actually, we'll just paste it in CV and then we'll unindent that there. Because that's the first thing I want it to do is tell me, hey, this is my target URL that we're working with. And that should be good. And then it's going to grab, okay, yeah. So I'm just, again, I'm thinking through this logically as I go for all of us. So it's a good time. All right, where are we at here? And now we are done with the request. That looks good. And I think that printing this response code might be useful. Yeah, I think it actually is useful. But we need to also do like, hey, here's where you're at. This is what we're trying. So maybe we need to change this or add another print statement. Let's add another print statement. So let's print, and let's do the same thing that we did before with the whole, hey, you've got this going on. Am I doing this right? No. Do it right, Daniel. Bing, and then we're going to call it trying creds, and we'll do, I liked my little tilde arrow looking thing, right? I like that. And then I like it. I give it a little extra space, trying creds, give it that. And then we will say name and separate it by a comma, give it a colon, right? Just kind of, because I want that username colon password experience going on. Don't forget my comma. And then, oh, I just need word. That's what we're doing there. And then sep equals nothing. Whew, that's a lot. Bam. But it should give me exactly what I'm looking for. This is basically what we did in the last episode. We're just, again, we're applying it to our script. Okay. Now that we have that, and then we'll get the response code. That's cool. That lets me know that everything worked. Or if it didn't work, maybe I get a 404 or whatever the case is. I get some sort of like HTTP error that goes on. I might want to grab that. So I'm just going to throw that in there. But if I get a 200, that should mean that things went well. And then, yeah, I think we're money. I'm going to save it and we're going to test it at least, right? Let's just start with some testing. So let's see here. File, save as, and I will save this as V6. Bam. Hit the old savage. And now we can jump into the terminal here. Let's move into learning Python. We should have a V6. We do. Let's chmod that mug. Chmod plus X brute force. I cannot spell. Dash V6. Bam. And now we can just do brute force dash V6 dot py. And of course, if I don't put any value here, it should ask me for it, which it does. Everything's working as it should. So far, so good. So I'll give it the http :/192.168.1.163 /bWAPP /login.php. There's my URL. Booyah! It worked. And it's looking good, right? So, and man, it really went crazy here. So it gave us the, hey, give me that target URL. It told me this is the target URL. This is the creds that we're trying, which is root password. And it gives me a 200. Or root QWERTY, it gives me a 200. Or root something, it gives me a 200. You might be picking up on a problem that we've got going on here that I expected. And because I kind of mentioned this here a moment ago, which is, hey, we know that B and bug work. And let's jump in here. Look for B and bug, which should be the last thing right there. There's B and bug, and it gets a 200. But B and stuff that doesn't work gets a 200. Heck, just rando user and a value for a password gets a 200. How do we know if this worked? This is not a good indication of whether or not that worked. So we've got to do some logicking. We got to work the old brain matter and get it to go at us a little bit here and figure out, what would indicate a successful login? Now, again, let's move into real life land here. Real life land, we don't know the bug thing. It's just a username and a password that we need to figure out through brute force. Okay. So, how do we do that? Well, you know what would be super helpful? A known value, a known username and password, which we have, but is unrealistic. What's a realistic way of getting username and password? Hopefully, you're thinking about it. I'll let your brain cook on it here while I kind of move the screen. What's a realistic way of getting a username and password? What's a realistic way of getting a username and password? What is a realistic way of getting? Oh, that's right. Make your own user. Create a login. Many websites have some sort of free login. Hey, let's give you some access. Let's go ahead and let you get past the information that we have. Many websites that are very, very popular have something very similar where they allow you to create a free tier where you just get a login that kind of moves you beyond the informational value that they have at their landing pages and kind of behind the veil, as it were. If we can create our username and password, if we can create our own, that means we know what that value is. Ha! And we'll know for a fact of whether or not it works. Now, we do know that with that, but we're gonna move it into real life land so that we can figure out the bBug value without being told. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, first, I don't need this so big and bulky. We do need to hit that new user thing. So I'm going to create a new user and we'll call it tester. And we'll say that it is tester@tester.com because it's asking for an email. And then a password, we'll make it tester and retype the password tester and make our secret tester. I'm just tester. And then I'll hit create. I'll go to login and I'll see, does my tester values work? If I log in, it does change. All right, cool. I'm logged into the system and I can see that I'm logged in as tester right there. Interesting. Okay, so we have a good username and password that we know without being told what it is because we created it. Cybersecurity getting fun all day long. So we're learning a little more about web applications and what we could use if we were testing a web application. Okay, so what we can now do is let's log out. Now, we did see that this page changed. Let me do this. Let me log out, and yes, I want to leave. What happens if I do tester and lead on the keyboard and log in? Well, it takes me back to the login page. And this is what we're going to use. This is going to be the logic we use to figure out whether or not we were successful in our login or not. Because that login page is a different page than what we got when we successfully logged in, right? We got a different page. It was portal, I think. I think we got the portal page. That's good to know. Okay. So what can we do? Well, we know that we get a 200 regardless, so there's probably a redirect that's happening, but the pages themselves are different, so they should be of different size. They should not be identical. Is it possible that they're identical? Yes, but it's a good place to start to see whether or not we get a different size page. Okay, so let's try doing the size of the page, okay? So what do we do? Let's get in here. And now let's see here. So instead of this status code, we're going to need something else because status code is not going to cut the mustard. Let's see here. What can we do? Let's go and take a look at our favorite friends, the docs, and say Python requests. And of course, back to our good friend requests.readthedocs.io. Excuse me, got a little frog in my throat there. And I'm going to go down here a little bit and let's move back into this user guide. I'll blow this up for you. And we saw make a request. That's where we were before. And that was good. What's this response content? Let's look at that. All right, we got a request.get, and we can see API. So here's the URL that it's going to, and then you get this r.text. We've got r.encoding. We saw some of this in the the sample, when you go to the opening page, I think that all that kind of stuff is there. You also get this r.content, which is a binary. Okay. So maybe we're either looking at the text or maybe we use this r.content as our ability to see how big it is, because it says you can also access the response body as bytes for non-text requests. Okay. Text might work for us though. Let's do that. Let's try r.text and see what we get. So let's go to here. Let's open up Python 3 and let's do import requests, and let's do r equals requests dot post, and let's go grab those values from our script. Let's just kind of copy that stuff in here. We'll have to do some changing, but it's okay. So, well, we're just testing things. Cape. Pestola. We'll go back in, Shift Control V. Okay. In here, we need to change this from word to, we'll make this test like so. And we'll make the name also test. I know it's not tester. I want it to fail. Got to change that target URL to an actual URL. And let's see here, http://192.168.1.163/bWAPP/login.php. Close that out. All right, if I make that request, which should work. Okay, good. Didn't get any errors. That means everything was good. And now I can do r.text. Oh yeah, it dumps stuff to the screen. All right. What if I did a len, which is just, hey, give me the length of r.text? 4086. Cool. Okay, let's try it with a known value, like our tester value. So I'll bring, just pushing the up arrow here. Now let's change this from test to tester and from test to tester. Go back to the end. Hit that, and then do the same thing. Oh, look, we have a different value. So let's verify that. Let's try another bad set of password and user. Let's try leaning on the keyboard and a good value. Let's say we know, like this, we know the tester is right. Let's hit it, and of course, get the length. It's 4086. So we've now figured out that if we go with a bad username and password, the length of the return text of the page that comes back is 4086. It gets a status of 200, but that doesn't help us. The length is different for the page when we get the portal.php page back as a response. Yes, we get a 200 response, as in, hey, I gave you the thing you're looking for and everything went fine. This does happen from time to time. It is the name of the game. We have to know what's going on with the technology so that we can figure out ways around it for when things like, hey, the status didn't change. I didn't get an error. I got a 200. What do I do now? Well, what about the size of the page? Is it different? Is anything different? And let's see if we can latch onto that. We got that right there with just looking at how long the text was using the len or length function in Python in the standard library. We are set to jet. Now we can go change our code. Let's exit out of here. We can go change our code now. Yeah. And we can just change this from status code to r.text. Nah, we don't want to do that. We want to do len r.text like that. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, we'll do a Control S to save. Let's go back here. Let's clear the screen and let's rerun our brute force.py. Oop, I forgot something there. It looks like we had, this was never closed. That's a problem, right? Oh yeah, because I opened this up. Don't you love debugging? It is fun. Well, I can fix that like so. Control S. Oh, I love little stupid things when I make mistakes like that. All right, try it one more time. Hey, things are working now. HTTP // and it is 192.168.1.163 / bWAPP/login.php. Hit it. Oh, look at that. It's money. It totally worked. We have successfully brute forced our way into this thing because there, look at that, the response code. Well, I got to change that. That's not right. Let's see here. Trying creds. Let's change this from response code to response size or response text size. That should be a little more descriptive. One more again. Refactored. Bam. HTTP 2.168.1.163 / bWAPP/login.php. There we go. Response text size is 23369. Everybody else has a 4086. So now we know that this is the good. This is the right thing. It does do this, and it works. It's a little ugly though, not gonna lie. I want it to kind of like say success. I can remove maybe all this trying, and maybe we'd use a little bit of like if then logic, if then else kind of, or if else logic. I always want to say if then else, but it's just if else, I guess, or if elif if if elif else. My brain today, it's fun. So I would want to put a little conditional logic in here to say, hey, I only want to see a response if it's actually, I don't mind this trying creds thing, but this probably isn't what I want. Okay. So I'm gonna comment that out for right now. And what I'm actually gonna do is let's say if, as we do a little comparison here, if what? Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. If len of r.text is greater than, what was it, 4080 something, right? 4086. Now this is pretty crude, but it seems like it'll work. Is greater than 4086. I don't know if I need that to be a string or if that's a digit. We'll see what goes on. We can actually check that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. See if this data type works. So if this, don't forget your colon, then we want it to print success and space, do this, and we'll put name, same kind of thing that we have up here. All right, so I'm actually just going to copy all this. Copy. That looks good. Where's it? Where am I at? We're at name. Bam. Copy that and paste it here. Then we don't have to type it because I'm lazy today. What you gonna do, right? And then we do an else. Actually, I don't even need an else. It's just gonna go. If it reaches this condition, it will print success. Otherwise, it's just gonna print creds. So trying success and give me that. Cool. I don't even know. I mean, I feel like it's, again, I'm doing this on the fly. All right, I'm going to go with it. Let's test it. Let's send it and see what it looks like. That's usually where I do my best coding, is when I look at my errors. All right, this time I'm going to give it from the command line here, 168.1.163 / bWAPP/login.php. Let's fire it off. Issue with target URL. Okay, what did I do wrong here? That's interesting. Okay, so it hit it. Okay, so what happened is it tried this and I did something wrong, and therefore it hit this accept block. So it was going through the try block and something went nuts. Started at root password, Trying creds, it went a little haywire on us. So we got to fix this. So why is that happening? Why is that happening? We've got request is fine. Trying creds. So it feels like, so it's got to be this. It's got to be what I just added, right? It didn't like that. Didn't like it at all. The copy and pasting will get you in trouble every time. So it never reaches that. So maybe I just need to add an else. Let's see what happens if I add an else. Else, oop, don't forget that. Else print. Keep trying. Keep trying. Let's see, trying. Now we're just kind of figuring out why our code is going berserk. Control S. Let's try it again. Let's see if it works this way. I should have tried it that way, but we'll see. 192.168.1.163 /bWAPP /login.php. I'm going to copy this so I don't have to type it in anymore. Copy. All right. Hit that. Nope. Okay. So it hit this trying creds thing and it just completely, ished the bed. I'm trying to figure out why it did. Okay, what's the problem here? So for in, this all works. If I take this block out, everything works. It prints and it's happy. So why is that not working? Forward and blank, do that. Request if len print and It looks good to me. I don't know what I've done wrong here. I'm guessing it might have something to do with this. Or has something to do with this. Maybe if I say greater than or equal to. Wow, that's crazy. What did it do? Oh, this is a thing. I love when the text editor does fun stuff for you. So this is a greater than or equal to, which I don't like that it does that. I wish it did greater than and equal to because that's what I'm used to seeing. But that is a greater than and equal to sign right there. Let's take this out. Let's just make it, I'm guessing this type is not of string, but it could be. We'll see what happens. And yeah, we're going to try that. Control S. Fire it off. Hey, there we go. But it's saying success for everything. Oh man, this is fun, isn't it? Okay, so it thinks everything is a success. Because I put the equal to. Bing. Because if it's equal to that. Now, I just want it greater than. But I think that was the problem, is that this needed to be an integer type and not a string. When I put quotations around it like that, it sees that as a string, but I need this to be an integer. Let's try one more time. Control S. Bam. Hit it. Excellent. All right, now we've got success. We can remove this unless we like that. Do we like this? We might like that because it lets us know what we tried. Nah, I'm just going to let it cook. I don't want to see things that don't work. I just want to see things that do work. That's how I like to roll. So I'm just going to take this else block completely out. Control S. Everything should be money at this point. Let's go back. We'll try it this way. Trying creds. Perfect. I actually like this. This is much better. I don't mind it showing me this way, but I didn't like it the other way. And then we have success. We need to modify that just a hair. We need to add uniformity, right? We're looking for uniformity. And Control S. This time we will try it the other way. Where Control V. Booyah. We have done it. Hoo. We did the thing. We made the thing where it does the thing. This has been fun. I don't know if we want to do anything more with this. Oh, we do. I do. I have, where's my head? Where's my head? We have more to come because we've got a list of usernames and passwords, right? That's very small. We need to be able to read in from dictionary files. That's what's going to be in our next episode to come. So you definitely got to come back for that, where we can tell our script, hey, forget this list business. That's way too tiny. That's way too difficult. Just read in from some files and use those as your lists for usernames and passwords. Ooh, it's going to get fun. Hopefully, you enjoyed watching me be on the struggle bus today. But we did make some success. We were able to brute force our app, and we could use our own username and password. We figured out some security fun when it comes to web applications. We're learning a little more about working with web apps and kind of figuring out logic behind them as well. Lots of fun today. We're going to have more fun in the next episode working with those files, opening files, reading from the files, and using them for our list. So you got to come back for that. Whew. I am tired. Hopefully you are ready for the next one. I know I sure am, and I'll see you there. And until next time, keep hacking.